know, sometimes things happen during the day that means we have to push on into the night, and this is one of those days. And you know what? The desert is a completely different beast at night. It's a whole new challenge for the vehicles, for the trailer, and for us as drivers. So we can get up this one all right. Oh, come on, baby.
One thing you'll notice when you're out here driving at night is the shadows don't necessarily correlate with how deep the hole is. You really do need to give just that little bit more caution as you're approaching each obstacle. And it's really a great idea, just like we're doing here, getting the person in the front of the convoy help to give some tips to those cars further back.
So Rico, there's a few big wombat holes on this one when you first come up, and it's a little soft at the top here.
Come on, baby. Hey, good mate, I'm gonna have to get you to come back and give me a bit of a strap up here.
Copy that, mate. I will reverse up now.
Just too soft and too many holes.
I ain't looking for trouble, ain't looking for me. I ain't looking for trouble, you're looking for me. I ain't looking for Jesus, he looking for me.
In this sort of situation, there's a couple of ways to tackle it. If you're really nuts, you could try a reverse and back down there. This is a windy track, it's dark, it's so much easier just to get a mate to come back and give you a snatch out. You ready, mate? Yep. Righto, mate, I'm ready when you are. Give me a count. Didn't take much at all. Beautiful stuff, beautiful.
Looking for trouble, you're looking for me.
What have we got? About 300 more dunes to go till we get to camp. Happy days. How good is this stuff? You feel like you're pioneering the desert, doing it at night. It's such a cool feeling, and we're all loving it. After a long haul last night, we're only 100 or so kilometres from Dalhousie Springs, which should only take a couple of hours. But the tracks are soft, and some of us, well, one of us, keeps falling short. Dingo to the rescue. One of the main reasons I wanted to cross the desert east to west is because I knew that after a few days in the sand with no showers, the crew would love a swim at Dalhousie Springs, and I tell you what, they needed it. Sadly, we weren't given permission to film at the springs, so we'll have to make do with Jamie's GoPro and a few photos. You get the picture, it's awesome. After a good couple of hours in the water, I wanted to stop in at one more spot before heading for camp at Mount Dare. This is Dalhousie Ruins, and there isn't a spot much better to take in a sunset.
The pioneering spirit of the people who lived out here must have been something to behold. They've turned up out here with their kids, possibly also with their grandparents. They brought the whole family unit along to live in what at the time was just the middle of nowhere. And we look back now 100 and something years later, and we can still see their hard work. There's still chimneys standing, there's still the remains of these buildings. It really is a testament to the fact that they got themselves out here and they were setting themselves up to be here for a long time.
You know, apart from this pub here, the only pub that I love more in Australia is Mount Dare.
So true, mate. It's one of my favourites too, and it's where we start the next part of our journey.
Mount Dare. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This joint is one of the best Outback pubs around. It's got to be my favourite of all time.
Mount Dare is one of those places that when you come to it, it's either signifying the beginning or the end of an epic journey across the desert. This place has so much character, and it's the only place that you're going to find fuel for a very long time.
Jamie rates this place pretty highly too. Guess why? They do proper coffee. Today, we're clocking up some dirt road Ks on our way to the Gunbarrel Highway and our final corner. After passing Colgra, it's a short run down the blacktop before we turn off and head further west.
You've always got to remember when switching terrain, well, we've come out of the desert and we've gone onto the dirt roads. Now, the important part is we've got to go up with the pressure. The pressures that we had in the desert were sort of floating around the 18 to 22 pound. Now that we're back onto the dirt roads, well, my air pressure's back up to around the 28 and 30 pound. Just makes a big difference to the terrain and how the tyres heat up. The last thing you want to do is cook a tyre. Now, cooking a tyre is very easily done. It's having too low a pressure going too fast on whether it be a dirt road or a bitumen road.
Now we're heading west to the fifth and final corner, Surveyor General's Corner, WA, Northern Territory and South Australia. This is pretty remote. This is a serious effort to get yourself out there. We've got a lot of jerry cans of diesel to support this trip, and you know it's one of those corners, or in fact it's the only corner that you do have to apply for a permit. There's clearly a number of people allowed out there each year, and the fact that we're going to be one of those small numbers visiting this year makes it extra special. Really looking forward to this.
I don't know about you folks, but I absolutely love it out here, the absolute red centre of Australia. And one of the things that I love the most, no phone reception.
For sure, Rico. But one of my favourite bits about here is every corner you go around, something changes. You know, the plants change, the land changes. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. The landscapes out here are just absolutely beautiful, especially those sunsets. And what I really, really enjoy is getting out and seeing some of the Aboriginal communities out here.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good side of it, Jamie, and I think for me it's just everything about this place. I guess in a way it feels like home, even though it's not, but it's the centre of Australia. It's to me, it's everything Australian. The roads, the landscape, everything. It's just beautiful. It just makes you relax.
Oh yeah, it's home to me, this place.
Keep your eyes peeled along this stretch of country too, because you might be lucky enough to catch a glimpse of a caravan of camels travelling alongside the road. This country is simply stunning. It's a privilege to be able to travel in these lands. However, one thing you need to understand though is permits. Before travelling the Gunbarrel Highway, you need to get permits from both Queensland and South Australian communities and a third permit from the WA community so you can access the corner. After the break, we collect our permits and head to our final corner. I tell you what, it's been an adventure to get here, and we are only a few kilometres away from our final corner, Surveyor General's. Access to this corner is from the WA side, so you need to pre-arrange your permits with the Wingelina community. The permits can be collected in town, and there's also an opportunity for supplies and fuel here if you need it.
Take me by the hand, lead me across the land.
Well, this has to be the most unique terrain of any of the corners we've seen so far. Guys, what do you reckon?
Stunning, isn't it, Rico? Just everywhere you look, it's somewhere different. Big rocky landscapes over there, and then arid plains on that side. Awesome.
Well, you don't normally take a track like this to get to one, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely something different, something I think we're very, very special to be able to do.
Yeah, this just sums up the interior of Australia for me. This is what it's all about.
And, you know, it was hard work getting here, and, you know, I guess the reward is even greater for that.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it is an accomplishment to actually travel this distance and see this with our own eyes, you know, because not many people will ever get to see this place.
Hear the beat of the drums, the rhythm it calls you to a distant place where you know fate will find you.
We are literally 2 k's from the corner. We are just about to pass the windmill that we were told about, and I couldn't be more excited. For me, four-wheel driving is all about the destinations. It's all about getting to places that only a four-wheel drive will get you to. Being able to tick things off the bucket list, or even in this particular instance, I wouldn't have even had this on the bucket list. It's amazing to head down a track that may not have been driven for a long time, head to a place that not many people will get the opportunity to see. It's really something else, and I cannot be any more thankful or appreciative of the adventure that we're having right now.
Surveyor General's Corner actually has 2 posts, not just one like the others. This was because when they surveyed the borders, it was found that it was actually impossible for all 3 borders to perfectly meet up. However, the most easterly point was named Surveyor General's Corner in June of 1968.
I don't know about you guys, but my favourite part of this journey was how far we've travelled and the destination we've got to. This one here.
I'd have to agree with you, mate. The journey that we've been on has been amazing, and to be standing here right now, I'm feeling pretty good.
I'm going to say the Angels of Big Red Bash are a bit of a highlight. However,
jumping.
yeah, Surveyor General's Corner, why not?
Well, of course, all of the corners were awesome, but for me, the Gunbarrel Highway and the scenery through there was unlike anything that I've experienced before. And you know what? It really ought to be on your bucket list.
Well, we finally made it to all the corners. Big trip, eh, guys?
I tell you what, by the time I got home, I'd done over 8,000 kilometres.
Yeah, but what a trip for a maiden voyage for the cruiser. I think I'm falling in love with her even more. Where are we heading to next week, Rick?
Well, you know what? Next week, we're heading to somewhere completely different. We're off for an awesome snow adventure. Check this out.
Well, I can't wait to see that. Make sure you tune in next week and we'll see you then.
I'll be the fat guy.
If you have a look on a map, if you check out the old desert maps and have a look at the K1 line, it actually runs parallel. What does it do?
Over the years, there's 2 things that I've learned to appreciate. One of them is free camping. They always seem to be the best campsites. And the other one is a little bit more surprising. It's Jamie's cooking. He does a mean roast in a camp oven. Like, I mean, top-notch stuff. You wouldn't expect it to look at him, but he goes all right.